After watching Matt Diavella's video on his 30-day intermittent fasting experience, it brought a question to the top of my mind. Is breakfast actually the most important meal of the day? If we ask this question to the average person, the obvious answer would be yes, of course, eat a well-balanced breakfast to start the day right. We've been told this by pretty much everyone. Well, I can only speak for myself here, but I was told this by my parents, the public school system, television, my doctors growing up, and the big food companies. So what did I do for the first 20-something years of my life? What all of us were told to do, of course, the normal thing. I ate breakfast and I didn't question it. But if you were to ask people in the new wave alternative health community, the biohackers, the ones who like the cutting edge stuff and like to try new things, they might tell you that eating breakfast is no good, that it's best to skip it so that you don't spike insulin in the morning, so you don't get fat, so you can stimulate autophagy, so you can live longer, grow muscle, etc., etc. And for those who don't know, intermittent fasting is when you restrict your eating window to a specific amount of hours in the day. Most commonly referenced is the 16-8 protocol. You fast for 16 hours a day and eat all of your calories within an 8-hour window. Many people who do this find that skipping breakfast is easier than skipping dinner because dinner time is usually something social with coworkers after work, getting a few drinks, eating dinner with the family, whatever. It's easier to skip breakfast during the morning rush, I get it, than it is to skip dinner when you're at home with nothing to do. So back in 2016, damn, it's 2020. That was almost 4 years ago now. That went by way too fast. I got introduced to the world of intermittent fasting and ketogenic diets, which quickly spiraled my life into the many rabbit holes of these topics. I began intermittent fasting and I did a few different styles of it for a couple of years. I liked not spending so much time eating or cooking, but I wasn't really seeing much of the burn fat, build muscle with intermittent fasting benefits that people were claiming it to do online. So I thought, maybe I'm just not fasting long enough. I originally started with Bulletproof intermittent fasting. It's where you don't eat breakfast, but you still drink a fatty coffee with some MCT oil and things like that. Then I started doing regular 16-8 fasting, and then I extended it into 18-6, and then I started doing 24, where you fast for 20 hours a day and eat in a 4-hour window. And finally, towards the end of my intermittent fasting journey, a few years after having discovered it, I was doing a strict 1 meal a day protocol, fasting for 23 hours a day and eating all of my calories within a 60-minute window in the evening. But I did this daily for over 5 months straight. Now, I only tell you all of that so you don't think I'm just talking out of my ass here. I've been on both sides of the equation, and I think the answer to the question, is breakfast the most important meal of the day, is ultimately individual and context dependent, like most things in nutrition. That's the reality. It's a boring ass answer, I know, but it's the truth. But hold on, because I'm not gonna leave you with that. Let me give you a more direct take-home answer to give you some perspective as to why I think breakfast is actually very important. Yes, there may be some reasons why you would want to skip breakfast or intermittent fast. I know that. I just said the ultimate answer is individual and context dependent. But to be upfront with you, if I was personally going to endorse one or the other, it would be to eat a protein-rich breakfast shortly after waking up for a few different reasons. Mainly tied to circadian rhythm and weight management, but I'll get more into that in a second here. Now, my personal viewpoint on this is that skipping breakfast for most people might be doing more harm than good in the long run for a few different reasons. Actually, hold on. Let me clarify, because I know I just pissed some people off right there. I don't think intermittent fasting is necessarily bad, or skipping breakfast is necessarily bad, maybe, in the short term. But I do think that having a high-quality breakfast is far superior and will bring more benefits than not having it. With that said, you can still eat breakfast and intermittent fast if you wanted to by simply skipping dinner instead of skipping breakfast. And that is the route that I would much rather take today if I was going to intermittent fast again. So the main reason I'm a big fan of breakfast is due to our circadian rhythm, and I talk about this in depth in my meal timing for optimal sleep video. But I won't make you go watch that unless you want to. So in a nutshell, our circadian rhythm is our body's natural sleep and wake cycles, controlled by our master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, crazy ass name, I know, located in the hypothalamus in the brain. It tells our body when to do things. hormone production, when we start getting sleepy, when our body wants to naturally wake up, when we poo, when we get hungry, blood glucose regulation, all that and much more is tied to our body's circadian rhythm. The more in sync or consistent your circadian rhythm is, I believe ultimately the healthier and longer we will live. Now, sleep ties massively into this because we know how crucial good sleep is. And if your circadian rhythm is out of whack and confused, your sleep won't be as good as it can be. Now, this is relevant because there are 3 key influencers or cues that help us regulate or set our internal body clocks: light, food, and movement. I'm not going to talk about light or movement in this video because I have multiple videos talking about that, but when you eat food plays a big role. Keeping regular routines of sleeping and eating is the most powerful way to nurture and sustain robust circadian clocks in our brain and body. Once the clocks are functioning at a high level, the multitasking clock genes similarly optimize almost all other functions of our body, promoting our health and well-being. That's a quote from Dr. Sachin Panda, leading expert in the field of circadian rhythm research and chronobiology. The second reason I'm a fan of breakfast, specifically a protein-rich breakfast, is simply because it's the smart thing to do if you're going to eat breakfast. Breakfast for most adults is typically very carb dominant and very low protein. Think about it, it's usually not very thought out, as with most meals for most people. Oatmeal without any added protein, a bagel with cream cheese, some type of croissant sandwich, pancakes or waffles, potatoes, or some type of skillet or hash brown. It's all very carb and fat dominant and very low protein across the board. Now, let me be clear. I'm a fan of carbs. I think they're great. But I do believe that we'd be better off cutting some of the carbs out of that breakfast and adding in a high quality protein source. According to protein, amino acid, and nutrition experts and researchers such as Don Layman, Stuart Phillips, Alan Aragon, and others, aiming for a range of 25 to 35 grams of protein at each meal, depending on your body weight, is a good way to ensure that we're getting adequate protein on a daily basis. I just posted a video last week talking a lot about protein and its role in building and maintaining muscle mass and how that benefits our health, aging, performance, and quality of life as we age. So definitely give that a watch if you're interested. I'll link it down below. But beside from that, a couple of benefits to a protein-rich meal include reducing unhealthy snacking behavior later in the day, and there's been multiple studies done on this. It also improves appetite control, it improves satiety because protein is the most satiating macronutrient, and it helps with weight management. Protein also has the highest thermic effect compared to carbs or fats. What that means is that it takes more calories to digest and assimilate protein compared to carbs or fats. Adequate protein at any meal is great for body composition and overall health, and getting an extra 20 to 30 grams at breakfast helps us get there. And I really want you guys to hear me out here because I was a die-hard intermittent faster. I didn't have breakfast for almost 3 years straight. It was either nothing or a bulletproof coffee. I did 1 meal a day. I did 18-6, 24, 16-8. I did all of it. I thought it was the best. I was a die-hard intermittent faster. I was very dogmatic about it as well. But long story short, almost 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago maybe, I don't remember exactly, I decided to challenge everything that I believe and try the opposite of everything that I was doing. So I started eating breakfast, I started eating higher carb, and lo and behold, I got much better results with my sleep, specifically my sleep, my energy levels. I have completely eliminated the need for an alarm. Like, this is huge. You know when you hear this sound? Every morning you want to throw it against the wall and it gives you that sick, let me play it again. I'm sorry for doing that to you, but doesn't it give you the sick pit and you're feeling that iPhone alarm sound? Having a protein-rich breakfast within 30 minutes of waking up for the last almost year and a half or so, a little over a year, has completely changed the way that I sleep. I wake up naturally, and I have to wake up at a specific time every single morning. No alarm clock. I fall asleep. I go in the bed. I tell myself it's time to go to bed. I close my eyes. I fall asleep peacefully. There's no, restless nights. There's no waking up groggy like, oh, fuck, I gotta get up, turn off the alarm. No, I just naturally wake up. Why? How did I do that? Here's a tip. I wanted to start waking up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning naturally. So for the first few weeks, I set an alarm for, I burped. So for the first few weeks, I set an alarm for 5:30, okay, to get myself to wake up at that time. And as soon as I woke up, I went and ate breakfast and I exposed myself to natural full spectrum light, either from a lamp or from the sun if it was out at that time. And I did that for a few weeks, and then after a while, my body got so used to it that I didn't need the alarm clock anymore. That was a little over a year ago. That just goes to show for me, N=1, that protein when you eat, we also have research to back it up, when you eat matters. It helps keep your circadian rhythm in sync. And it's just a beautiful thing, seriously, to not have an alarm clock and to go to bed when you want and just fall asleep and sleep peacefully. Introducing carbs and eating breakfast, that's probably the biggest shift that I've had, as well as fueling my workouts with the carbohydrates. So in closing, I think that having a proper breakfast, focusing on an adequate portion of protein, can be extremely beneficial for satiety, weight management, lean tissue, and the big one, circadian rhythm. I'll leave some further reading resources for you down below, and I'd invite you to watch my meal timing for optimal sleep video, because I talk a lot about timing your breakfast and your dinner and how that can influence your body's internal clocks. But look, I mean, if you're someone who truly likes intermittent fasting and skipping breakfast, and you're used to it, it helps you with your goals, you have maybe a condition and it helps you, feel better, whatever, then hey, have at it. Just because I wouldn't personally do it or recommend skipping breakfast, if it works for you, it works for you. So I'm not saying that everyone needs to start eating breakfast, but I do kind of want to sell you on that idea because it has really changed my life and it's just fucking great. And this probably isn't for most people, the statement right here, but if you're someone like me who's actively on a bulk or trying to put on more muscle mass because you know how good having a muscular body is for aging and performance and for your health overall, then having evenly distributed protein meals throughout the day, right, having more protein a little bit more frequently is best for anabolism and for muscle protein synthesis. Going so long without meals, amino acids, that's fine. You can still grow muscle, but it's best to give it protein throughout the day and not wait 20 hours, 18 hours, 16 hours to give it those amino acids so that it can repair and refuel and grow. All right, we're gonna go ahead and pick a winner from last week's YouTube video. I'm giving away a pair of blue blockers. If you don't know what those are, go watch some of my other videos. They have significantly enhanced my sleep and my overall health and well-being. Amazing tool to have. I'm giving away my favorite pair from a company called TrueDark. No sponsorship, no affiliation. This is out of my pocket to random viewers like yourselves. So all I did was copy the link. I put it in the YouTube comment picker, and the winner is username It's a Beautiful Thing She Said. That's the username. The rules for the giveaway is I'm going to contact them by replying to their comment, get them to email me their information so I can send them out their prize. And if the recipients don't receive, I guess they're not recipients then, if they don't reply to me within 2 weeks, I'm going to go ahead and pick another winner, and I'll do that live on video as well. So there we go. It's a beautiful thing she said. You just won a pair of blue blockers. For those who didn't win, fear not. Next week, we're doing another giveaway. I'm going to try to do these at the end of every video because you guys fucking rock, and I would not be here if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you for sticking with me. Shilajit is going to be going out to some lucky people next week. I'll announce that in the next video. And if you guys could do me a huge favor, tell me what you want to see from me in the comments below. Sometimes coming up with video ideas is just like the hardest part for me for video creation. So please DM me on Instagram, leave me a comment down below at any time. If you want to see me cover a topic, please let me know. I'm looking for ideas. I'll create the content. I would just love help coming up with some more ideas of what you would want to hear. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Click the bell so you get notified when I post a video so you can get this information and so you can be entered into the giveaways I'm going to be doing. And I love you. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and I will see you in next week's video. Have a great rest of your day.